I play a lot of fantasy games, and maybe too much. I like the idea of dragons, I like the idea of magic, and towns full of people who would never have anything important to say. But sometimes, it's like, why are all these things the way they are, and why are they always that way? Fantasy game tropes. Tropes are like, kind of like played out metaphors in like stories, film, narrative, etc. But in video games, it applies to mechanics and just generally everything. So that means mechanics, theme, and story elements are all on the table here for talking about tropes. I only picked 10. I wrote a list of like 40, but I just wanted to highlight some of those things because sometimes they kind of go, you know, unnoticed or just not talked about. So I'm gonna talk about it.
Now gather round. Let me tell you the tale of the Chosen One. Has there ever been a fantasy game wherein you were not the most important of all? The Chosen One, upon whom the fate of the universe resides. Where you were nothing. Where you meant nothing. Well, yes, perhaps, but it's not that course the one least traveled. Perhaps 'tis simply the concept of destiny which appeals to us all. Or perhaps we simply enjoy being so very unique and important. Who knows, really? But certainly 'tis a concept we've all grown quite familiar with. Now listen here and you might learn something. Fantasy games can't only parallel reality. Sometimes things get a little bit more out there. Hence the enemy from nowhere. Coercing your player into acceptance of their role is a massive step to climb indeed. But even greater is creating a convincing enemy. It's simple to draw forth from the well of classic fantasy lore, and we'll get into that later. But sometimes it makes more sense when the enemy makes less. Freaking minds. Here's where things start to get a little bit more personal. I understand the Crystal Caverns games frequently push us through, but it's like there's only one way to combine shiny shapes and goblin miners. To chip away further into the trope, mines are almost always entry-level environments. These dank, brown, hallway-laden hikes are so underselling the idea of fantasy. What concept artist is told, "Bring me fantasy landscapes," and returns with fucking dirt and wood? Chicken chaser? Chicken chaser? So I guess this is a metaphor for eventually fighting massive beasts or something, or perhaps a way to get acclimated to the game's controls, but it's a little weird, right? It's like a great artist looking back on their work from when they were 5 and it's all stick figures and pointy suns. Imagine, you'll be at the end of your massive journey, the heroist of heroes, and some little runt will run up to you and say, "I heard you once chased chickens around like some sort of loser. Is that true?" And then that kid was never heard from again. It's odd, you know, being a hero and all that. You enter a random village and everyone tells you to leave and how nobody trusts outsiders. Then someone comments on this story about how their last caravan was devoured by spiders 12 stone tall with webs stickier than honey on a warm summer's day or some silliness of that sort. Then of course, like a good hero, I offer to go recover the contents of the caravan, and of course the villagers accept. So of course, after pillaging it for myself, I return with the news of everyone's demise, and all of a sudden we're like family, sharing the sadness together, as though we were third, perhaps even second cousins. What a strange world we live in, indeed. We know it's coming. Every damn time we're like, oh, this motherfucker right here, he's gonna be the piece of shit that stabs us in the back. He's teaching you everything, guiding you through the trials and tribulations of this scary world of heroship, and providing ever useless tips. Oh, hey, don't go in there, you're not ready yet. Bring me all these special things I can't seem to get on my own. I'll train you for the future. You piece of shit, you're just gonna betray me. Oh, what, I'm not allowed to just stab you right here and now because I know you're gonna betray me? Fucking video games. It's never enough simply to be going on a grand adventure. You've always got to be the hero, don't you? Yeah, you can't just be out for funsies, you can't just go on a murder spree of all the little, evil creatures. You gotta be out to save that dude, redeem this guy, help that old man by helping that old lady, and eventually you can save them all. Everybody always needs saving, and yet they're also lazy and helpless. Why should I help any of these lazy, helpless people? You'd think that more of them would want to do some awesome shit and help save the everything. But, I guess it is a lot of work, and you can die. Maybe that's why everyone's so lazy and helpless. Shot by an arrow? Eat a chicken. Arm cleaved straight off? Eat a chicken. Bleeding from every orifice to the degree that there's literally streams of blood spraying out of you at an alarming rate? Eat a chicken. And not just any chicken. A chicken that's been in a box, or inside a skeleton, or in a wall. Fat people must be healthy as shit, am I right?
Orcs. Big and green and tough and mean, a million times they have been seen. Burning towns and sieging castles, ever they are quite the hassle. Draw them once or draw them twice, oh who cares, don't be inventive. New monsters, no seen before, yes, this idea is so preventive. Here's the old, similar, all the same, orcs. Something new, different, something cool, orcs.
Here we go again. There are just so many orcs. With their armor, their swords, stabbing all the humans in the land, ravaging, pillaging, refusing to shower. Why are they so angry? So angry. Maybe it's because they're always the bad guys. Now I know what Russia must feel like. Barrel money, crate money, base money, dead body money. Money in places that just doesn't belong. Like when it's dropped by a monster or hidden behind some logs. Who puts this money here? Why? Do they just have nothing better to do? And hey, while we're at it, this is like 8 freaking gold. Who is this for? Is this for me? Am I gonna go invest this in the real estate or something? I can't do anything with 8 gold. Barrel money must be like the greatest prank of all gaming history. It's nigh useless, and yet, if you don't break every box, urn, and grave, you're just not embracing the true spirit of a fantasy game.
So that's all 10. There you go, fantasy game tropes, man. Now, I asked a bunch of my friends this question. What are some of your top fantasy game tropes? And I usually had to explain what I meant by that, which is why I did that at the beginning of this video. But one person in particular, a Mr. Satchel Like a Bag Drakes of Satchbag's Goods YouTube show fameness, gave me a really good answer that I liked, and I felt like it was a good contrast to what you just watched. So stick around because his voice is about to start talking over some gameplay footage.
My favorite traditional RPG trope would have to be the warmth, grandeur, and majesty of that stone brick cottage house master city, with all the shops and class trainers and stuff. I love wandering in that. I look forward to the Rivendell scenes of any Lord of the Rings movie for that, and a sizable amount of RPGs at least loosely model themselves after a Tolkien-esque atmosphere. As far as a trope with a more humorous or negative connotation, it's gotta be the class of characters in your starter party. It's always the same caricatures. The silent protagonist, the alpha male hometown hero, the reserved badass with an individualistic motive, and the elegant yet clumsy femme fatale. Zell and Waka are the same guy, Riku and Orin are similar, and yet it's never tiring.
Welcome to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed your stay, I hope you enjoyed my opinions, and I hope that you formed some opinions of your own, or perhaps noticed things that indeed you hadn't noticed before. Now, remember, these are my opinions. First of all, you can't have them, so if you agree with me, too bad, you're out of luck, you should have made a video first. Second of all, if you want to tell me what your opinions are, please put them below in comment form, and use proper punctuation, grammar, spelling, and perhaps make it funny or something.